question. What's your problem with Peter Obi's academic records as indicated in that introduction? We all know that Mr. Peter Obi attended the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, right? We also know that he has multiple qualifications. If I may throw it in, he was my classmate at the Sai Business School at the University of Oxford. So he has classmates who can stand up and say, I sat in the same class with Peter Obi. I can at least attest to that, okay? And then you say in the, as the introduction indicated, that even the APC candidates' academic records are more straightforward. What is straightforward? Chicago State University or Government College Ibadan? If you may just educate us.
Well, thank you for the question. Well, I made that statement in response to criticism from the Labour Party against the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress. And I said, if you look at all the presidential candidates, the least educationally qualified, the most educationally backward, if you like, is the Labour Party candidate. Rabi Mr. Conquest, who has a PhD in water engineering, Waziri Atiku Abubakar has a master's with distinction in international relations, and Bola Tinubu has a second-class upper in accounting. And you have the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, who had a second-class lower in philosophy. And if you put that together, it's obviously the lowest. I do not like Bola Tinubu because I know for a fact that he's a known drug lord. However, I went to Chicago State University myself, physically, I went there. And I released photos. I went there to their exams and records office, and I asked them, and they did tell me that, yes, Bola Tinubu attended. He's a proud alumni of the institution. And if you look at what Bola Tinubu has said, and if you look at what Peter Obi has said, Peter Obi, in terms of lies, he's told much more lies than all the other presidential candidates. I wrote an article, 11 major lies told by Peter Obi. He's told lies from everything from his shares, and that was just what I was trying to establish.
All right, Reno, please, I'd like to get some clarification. You said you went to Chicago yourself. I will ask you, what Chicago did you go to? Is it the same Chicago to get Tinubu's record? Is it the same Chicago that now there's a case in court filed about the deposition that, a lawyer subpoenaed the school he went to, and they said they don't have any of those records. The records are submitted to INEC, the EC9 form, and there were even discrepancies on the date of birth of the person. So what record did you say you got of Tinubu from Chicago? Because there's already a case in court filed by Mark Enaro Ibe or something, one of the lawyers, and they were saying there were discrepancies as regards what was even submitted. So what Chicago did you go to? I'd like to know. And they confirmed to you as regards the veracity of that? And did they give you any documents you can show to that effect?
Well, Rufia, you've got your facts wrong. The subpoena that was subpoenaed was not for Chicago State University. It was a subpoena that was sent to Deloitte. I physically went there. The fact that I went there is a fact.
Okay, Reno, please, I'm sorry, I have a follow-up. If you're finished, I have a follow-up to what you just said just now. So I just wanted to tell you in advance. So when you're done, just let me know. So I'll follow up on that, please. Okay, are you done? Let me just quickly give the follow-up. So Reno,
that's the thing, Rufia, you need to be able to control yourself so that when someone is talking, you allow them, because that's how this is going to work. I'm still talking.
Hang on a minute,
when you interjected, and you have a history of doing that. Anyway, now let's go.
Please finish your thoughts, then I come with my rebuttal, please. Just finish your thought. Go ahead.
No, you've interrupted my thought process.
Okay, so let me follow up on the rebuttal, Reno. And that's why I had the courtesy to be able to tell you that when you finish, because you paused for a bit, and that's why I interjected. So I will not just interrupt your thoughts. And all this game you try to play to blackmail me and say all sorts, that's how I behave. It's your game. I'm not drawn into that. I'm just a journalist and I do my job. And that's just to you, Reno, just to set you straight on that. This is the rebuttal I wanted to give. The court paper said that Tinubu presented a forged Chicago State certificate to INEC with the intent that may be acted upon as genuine. This is a new court case, and you can go and check the, the records of this. This is a new court case that was just filed as of the 16th of November 2022. So I was correct as regards to filing in court. That was just the rebuttal I wanted to give you, Reno.
Can I respond to that, please?
Go ahead.
For any other thing, for Deloitte, for any other college, I mean, I don't know about that. I'm only talking about what I know. Tinubu went to Chicago State University. I do not like the fact that he's a known drug lord, but I'm not going to libel him. I'm not going to lie against him. He did go to Chicago State University.
All right, thank you very much, Reno. You talk a lot about the mob, the huge mob on social media that come after people if you criticize Mr. Peter Obi. Yet, going through your timeline on social media, it is full of criticism of not just Mr. Peter Obi, of course, of the APC presidential candidate. So you have actually reading on a campaign of attacking the personality of the people running for government as opposed to facing the issues, as has been encouraged again and again. So sort of you're also guilty of what you accuse, the mob that you talk about on social media. Why is it impossible for you to focus rather on your candidate that you're representing and the issues of what he wants to sort out, what to address, rather than the personality or the person? You've called Peter Obi a liar, you've called Asiwaju a drug lord, and so many unprintable names you've spoken about with regards to candidates.
Can I respond to that?
Yeah.
Drug lord is not an unprintable name. If you are a drug lord, first and foremost, if you are a thief, it is not libel to say you are a thief. How am I going to tell you that if you are a thief, I'll come and meet you and say, oh, you are a nice person who diplomatically likes to take things that do not belong to you? No, you are a thief. Bola Tinubu is a non-drug lord. It's not an unprintable word. I've got facts to back it up. As for Peter Obi, he lied. And when you lie, you are a liar. That's not an unprintable name.
Reno, I put it to you again, and I would like to give you an open challenge about your visit to Chicago, and Chicago told you that they had all the records. I would challenge you openly on that, and this is why I would challenge you. At first, you said that the subpoenas were for Deloitte, were not for Chicago University. Reno, you were wrong. In the court papers, in case you don't have access to it, the court papers by Enahoro Eba that was filed recently, he told his colleague, Mr. Matthew J. Qualls, a Chicago-based lawyer, who issued an attorney subpoena on his behalf against Chicago State University in case number 22L007289 on the 12th of August. Qual had in his subpoena directed the school to mail all the documents and records in possession that pertains to Tinubu and his educational qualifications. And it is based on that, in the suit, Enahoro told the court that copies from Chicago State academic record undergraduate and were letters sent to him, which were attached to him as a court exhibit. And it contradicts the material provided by Tinubu in EC9 forms submitted to INEC. So that's also prove you wrong. In case you do not know, Reno, there was actually a subpoena to Chicago based on the deposition of this legal paper. You can go and read the Vanguard of the 16th of November for that. It's not only the Deloitte that was subpoenaed, it was subpoenaed for Chicago, and this is based on that. That's why I challenge, what did Chicago University tell you, Reno, when you went there? Who did you meet? Who did you talk to? What papers did they give you?
Well, that again, like I said before, there was no subpoena to Chicago State University. An attorney cannot issue a subpoena. I've got a master's in law. I don't know what degree you have. Only a court can issue a subpoena to an institution. I went to Chicago State University. I went there. I met with their officer at the records office. They issued a statement. The statement has been published by various Nigerian media. If I knew you were going to ask this question, I would have brought the document with me and I would have shown it to you. I like to do that a lot. Because
Reno, but you prepped for this interview now. How come are you saying if you know you will have brought the records? But you prepped for this interview, Reno. And secondly, what was the name of the executive you met there in Chicago State University?
Like I said before, you can't be doing this. This is very unprofessional. When you talk, I don't interject. I allow you to finish. I'm very quiet. I control myself. When I'm talking, you should do me the same courtesy.